So my question for you today is this one, and it's, what are you doing this for? Like, what is the purpose of it? And I know that's a fascinating one when we talk about it because, we've spoken about you need purpose, you need challenge, and you need to go to war. And obviously, those things are hugely fucking important. You need a purpose to drive you that's outside of you, that creates the internal motivation. You need a challenge to overcome, to conquer, so that you can be inspired and it creates that enlightenment, but that passion, that fire, that drive, that when you crush that challenge, that you become better. And then you need something to go to war to. Because we as men need to fuel that testosterone, that competition, that drive, that focus. And you need to go to war with something, whether it's yourself, whether it's a challenge, whether it's an enemy, whether it's another business, whether it's camaraderie and a war between others. You need something to go to war against. And I think usually they kind of build on each other. You know, for example, my purpose at the moment is for my family, to create true financial freedom and happiness through that. My challenge is, and they don't always seem linked, but when you work them out, they are. My challenge at the moment is to give up all forms of sedation and just on anything, focus on the things that make me better. Sacrifice anything that doesn't make me money, doesn't make me happy, and doesn't grow me, and doesn't progress me towards this outcome of this financial freedom for my family. And going to war with my addiction for those things, that I have to cut away those things that don't serve me, that don't enlighten me, that don't improve me, that don't better my life, such as TV, such as social media, such as, snacking on things outside the rules, all these kinds of things that don't build me towards this. This is where I'm at on that. But within that, what is the reason you do this for? Because part of it's also, are you doing it to reach X outcome? Like if we take it back to a simpler format to explain this theory, this concept, are you doing it for a six-pack? Because that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong focus. Because if you're like, it's all about getting a six-pack, and trust me, I'm there at the moment. That's why I wanted to use it as an example. Like, there are fucking days that I look at myself and, God, you're disgusting. And, a lot of people don't like that terminology. And I don't actually give a shit. But I had that today. I was in the sauna, and I don't know. To sound like a woman, I felt like I was having a fucking fat day. I was like, Jesus Christ, I thought I was making progress on this. And I'm just looking at myself and I'm like, ah. And there's a guy I know that I used to be so much more incredibly fit than at the sauna. And he's got a full six-pack. He's looking fantastic. Full credit to him. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I even doing here? And I had to take a step back from that and own that and step into why I'm doing this. Why do I work out every day? Why do I go for a weighted walk every day? Why do I, have zero choice mentality when it comes to nutrition? That all I eat is meat, fruit, honey, and raw dairy. That's it. Why am I doing this? And the purpose is the work. And the outcome will therefore flow from doing the work to perfection. The purpose isn't to achieve the outcome. I do this to do the work. I do this to build my character, to build my mental toughness, to increase my discipline, to be a man of my word. This is why I do these things. At the end of 126 days, I will have a six-pack. Fucking guaranteed. We're not even a third of the way through. But by the end, I will have a six-pack. That is unquestionable. But I need to stop focusing on that part. And I need to start focusing on doing the work for the sake of the work. The other one is this. I have tried to create content like this for fucking years. I've been doing this for 10 years. Well, not this specifically, but, running my own gym for, actually, it's 11 years now. I've been doing that. I've been patchy and I've been inconsistent with content, and I've never really liked it, and I've always struggled, and I found a thing. This time it's because there was a purpose attached to it. I was like, I am creating content to make more money. That was the fucking purpose of it. That was the sole criteria for it. And if I didn't make money off it, I got shitty about it. I'm like, I put all this effort in and nobody watched it and nobody cared. And, you know, it takes away from it. You need to do the work for the sake of doing the work. And that's where I'm at now. And look, there is a bonus of this feels authentically aligned with who I am. This feels right. This is me. It almost feels effortless. And that helps the situation. And I truly think when you step into what you're meant to do, it does feel effortless. You can just do the work with zero thought about it. But on the other side, I am focusing on doing the work. My goal at the moment for this is to reach 100 days in a row. I don't care if nobody watches it. I don't care if nobody watches my reels. I don't care if nobody watches my stories. I don't care if anybody watches this or listens to this as a podcast. I don't care about that. I am doing this for the sake of doing the work. And that's what matters. You have to shift your paradigm and focus on the things that matter. And doing the work is what matters. And when you do the work and you authentically align yourself with the work that you're doing and you show up with zero compromise every single day and you build that momentum, and it can be slow. It's like pushing a fucking boulder up the hill. But once you build it up and build it up and build it up and you reach the top and you push that boulder down the hill and it goes fucking skyrocketing down that hill. That's what all the work was. But if you stop and you let the boulder roll back down to the start of the hill, you just got to start again from day one. And that's what the momentum is, because you've got to fall in love with the process. You've got to fall in love with doing the work for the sake of doing the work. And that's where I'm at. And it completely shifts it. And like all the greats talk about this. You know, I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it, Stephen King, and Stephen Pressfield. You know, Jerry Seinfeld had a famous one of this. His only goal was that he had a calendar and he every day would write jokes. And every day that he wrote jokes, he would put an X on the calendar. And his only goal was to make sure that that chain was unbroken. That he just continued those lines of X's. And that's exactly what this is. That is exactly what 126 to greatness is. You know, once you complete 126 to greatness, you step into chasing greatness. And once you complete chasing greatness, you go into the greatness club. It's about just stacking those fucking wins on top of each other, on top and top, on top. Unbroken chain. And doing it for the sake of the work. Because when you let go of needing the outcome, when you let go of the attachment to, I'm doing this to achieve X, one, you're more richly rewarded. It's amazing how incredible the results are when you stop focusing on the outcome. Two, you're more likely to follow through because it's working. If your goal is to do the work, then it's fucking working. Every time you show up, you're winning already because that's all you're focusing on. And three, you fall in love with the process. I'm super keen every day to do this. And I enjoy just stacking those wins. And I see that continuation, that continuity of watching those days stack up on something that, as I said, I've tried before and never been able to do. And it's just happening. And that's the flow of it. And that's the point, that we just show up and do the work because we do the work, because that's who we are. And that in turn also builds your character. It builds your discipline. It builds your mindset that, you know, it's ritualistic. It's almost like you could equate it to religion, that this is what you do. This is who you are. This is your set of rules and rituals that must be completed no matter what. And it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. This is the momentum side of it. Yes, it is easier if you could have someone holding you accountable. But at the same point, there is something to be said for just building that within you, that you just do this because you said you would. This is that When I said it's all about, it's about building character, it's about building mental toughness, it's about carving away the crap that doesn't serve you. And if you just go, I know I'm going to show up every single fucking day, no matter what, because I like the work and I do the work for the sake of the work. In 126 days, you'll be unrecognizable. Where you have reached in life will be unrecognizable. And this is what it's all about. And it also goes deeper into this. I was having a sales chat and we were just talking it through, and she was like, it's quite a large investment. And I was like, it is. But the number one investment you can ever make that is guaranteed to have the highest ROI on anything you could ever spend money on is investing in you. And that's not a bullshit sales pitch. That is the honest to God truth. If you were going to spend money to try and make more money, why wouldn't you spend it on you? The thing that makes you more money, you and how you show up, that's what you need to spend the money on. That's where it needs to be. So you need to invest in you. You need to invest in your physical capacity. You need to invest in your mental capacity. You need to invest in your health. You need to invest in who you are as a man. And there are a lot of guys who are like, no, I don't spend money on those things. You fucking need to. Even if you don't believe that it would benefit you, trust me, investing in yourself will make a huge difference. My number one expense is me. And it's not on, frivolous things that don't serve me. It's on things that make me better. It's on my health. It's on my fitness. It's on my mental toughness. It's on my mental fortitude and growth. These are the things I spend my money on. And your ROI on that will be massive, because if you have more energy, if you have more discipline, if you have more focus, if you are more aligned with who you are, if you are more present, if your body and your life just functions better, you will in turn make more money. That is just a given. And on the flip side, if you're fat, if you're overweight, if you have no energy, you've got brain fog, you feel like shit every day, you have zero confidence, all these kinds of things, they are going to negatively affect how much money you make. So it becomes a no-brainer to invest into yourself, because you are the one who then generates more wealth. And this is how we go about it. And it doesn't matter if you know all the things. Like, I have been... Okay, this is going to put me into it. I've been training for 18 years. So I've been training so long I could order a drink. My training programs could order a drink. I have been training other people for 15 years. I am exceptional at writing programs and creating change in the physical aspect. That is what I've been doing. It's one of the things, like my zone of genius of what I am called at. I am phenomenal at that. And sometimes I don't even know why I'm so good at it. I just am. And that's not to brag, that is fact. Like, I've been in the industry for 15 years and I'm 32. Think about that. But on the flip side, I buy other people's programs. I have coaches. I have worked with nutritionists. I consult with peers and friends and people who are better leveled or better qualified in certain areas of training. Why? Because it doesn't matter how good you are at it yourself, you will have blinders and you'll have blind spots. I outsource it because I know what I like. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'd prefer to do if I had the option to train. It doesn't fucking challenge me. Like, I program for myself all the things that I'm going to enjoy, and it's going to be really easy, but not necessarily what I want to do. And the perfect example is, I'm rehabbing a knee and a shoulder at the moment from freak incidents that happened. And that shit is boring as fuck. My God, do I hate doing it. And if I didn't have someone else holding me accountable to it, at this point I would be like, I'll just go back to my normal training. It's not that bad. And that's the honest truth. It isn't that bad. Like, it is They are both passable, that I could get away with just going back to normal training. But I've had so many injuries in my life, I don't want to get to 50 and none of my fucking joints work anymore. And I cannot risk, not doing the rehab correctly at this point and showing up at 50 and being like, fuck, that right knee doesn't work at all now. And that left shoulder is just done. So it matters to get people who aren't you, who are outside your circle of influence, who aren't going to agree to your bullshit, and who are just going to give you the things that need to be done. And that's the whole point of 126, is to get uncomfortable, to daily choose to get fucking uncomfortable and push yourself further than you thought possible. And the whole point is to take on challenges. So if you're only doing the things that make you happy and comfortable, what's the point? As I said, I've been training for more of my life than I haven't. And I like training. I love it, in fact. But I have to pick things that are going to challenge me. Regularly at the moment, I get to my workouts, and at the moment I'm doing a collab workout. I've written it with someone else together to identify the areas that I don't want to do. And I look at it and go, what fucking asshole wrote this shit? But I get to the end of it and I feel satisfied. I feel fulfilled. I feel fueled with passion and fire. Because not only did I get it done, but I fucking pushed myself and I conquered that shit. And it was exhausting and it was difficult. And I got to the end and I was like, fuck yeah, I did that. And that's the feeling you're chasing. It's not that, that was an alright workout. It's, fuck yeah, you're fired up because you did the shit that had to be done. That was hard, that was difficult, that pushed you to your limits, and you got it done. And you just start your day with feeling accomplished and ready to rock because you did the work. And you just did it for the sake of doing the work. And that comes back to my first point, that you need to get to the point of just doing the work for the sake of doing the work. But you need to be challenged and pushed. And if you are the only one who's there deciding what, is going to challenge you or push you, I can guarantee you're not going to do it. You're always going to work harder when someone's watching. That's why I try to, as regularly as possible, work out with my mate. Because we still go at it. He goads me into these things and I will fucking ramp up and I will destroy him. And he knows it and he loves to watch it. And there is that level of competition and accountability to push that hard. Look, I can push myself when I'm on my own, but I will take it to a whole nother level when he is there because I will not be outdone. I will not be beaten. And it's why I think you do need accountability. I think you do need someone to compete against. And I do honestly think that you cannot write your own programming or pick things that are going to challenge you and push you beyond your limit. You need to get someone who is outside of your circle of influence, who isn't living in your day-to-day life, to make those decisions for you so that they are pushed. And I have this one where people are like, oh, but I know what my life is like the most. I'm like, cool, yeah, it's why you know where all the excuses are, where all the things that you're like, well, this came up today, so I'm not going to do it. We cannot allow that level of weakness. We cannot allow that poor choices when it comes to carving out the man that you should be, when chasing your greatness or reaching your potential, deciding what is going to change your life. You cannot let your blinders, put on your blinders and be like, yeah, it's totally pushing me. It's fucking not. You need someone outside of you to do that for you because most people do not have it. If they're given the option, they'll opt out of a workout. Given the option, they'll take the easier option. They'll do the things that are easier. We need someone externally to push you to do the things that you don't want to do, but are necessary to reach the next level. And this is part of chasing greatness. So, two main takeaways from today. That one, go hire yourself a coach. get someone who's going to give you the shit that needs to get done, not that you want to get done. That is who's going to deliver you your goals, but also make you the most fundamentally strong and unbreakable individual you can be. And 2, shift the paradigm. Make the work the goal. That I am going to do the work every single day for 126 days. Make that the goal. Because then you will achieve incredible success because you did the work every single day. But you feel empowered because your goal is to just do the work, to show up and do the work. Therefore, you feel good from doing that. Take this as it will, but if you take this on board and you start to implement it, you'll change your whole life. You'll change the trajectory of your life, of your partner's life, of your kids' life, of all those who depend on you, and all those who are to come after you. You will change the future standings of all of them. But it starts with that first action. It starts with taking accountability in here and doing the work that has to be done. So that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back tomorrow to give you some more greatness insights. But until then, talk to you.